Your Grade for Less presents Understanding Hearing Loss and Solutions. Our agenda today has primarily 4 topics. We are going to discuss, number 1, how do we hear? Number 2, the impact and causes of hearing loss. Number 3, available options. And finally, what's the next step? So let's begin with how do we hear? Now the ear can be divided into 3 parts. There's the outer ear, the middle ear, and the inner ear. The visible portion of the outer ear is referred to as the pinna, which funnels the sound down the external ear canal. After the sound travels down the ear canal, it goes to the middle ear, where it vibrates the eardrum, and then that sound is conducted through 3 tiny bones in the middle ear. The sound then enters the inner ear into this organ, which is referred to as the cochlea, which is as small as a pea. As you notice in the picture, it kind of looks like a snail. Inside the cochlea are tiny little nerve endings called hair cells. So, and by the way, the cochlea is filled with fluid. So the sound enters the cochlea. It is picked up by those nerve endings or hair cells in the inner ear. And then the sound is sent to the auditory nerve and then off to the brain. So going back to the outer ear and the middle ear, essentially what is happening is that the outer ear collects the sound waves and then the middle ear increases the sound pressure. If there's a problem in this process, it's referred to as a conductive hearing loss. Essentially, there is a problem with the outer or middle ear. With the outer ear, maybe there's something that is blocking the ear canal, such as wax, or the ear canal is actually collapsed. Or there's a problem with the middle ear, such as the eardrum has become damaged, or there's a problem with the 3 tiny bones in the middle ear, or there's fluid in the middle ear. When someone has this type of hearing loss, oftentimes it can be medically treated, and it's referred to as a conductive hearing loss. The vast majority of hearing losses, though, are sensorineural, or what's referred to as nerve deafness. Now, this is how nerve deafness operates. I want you to take a look at these words. This is how somebody hears who has a high frequency hearing loss when there's noise around. Can you read what that says? Let's take away the noise, and you notice it's still very difficult to read. And now this is an illustration of normal hearing, better speech understanding. That is exactly how a sensorineural hearing loss works. The nerve endings inside the inner ear have become damaged, and those nerve endings are set to different pitches. And depending on which ones are damaged will determine which parts of speech somebody has difficulty hearing. As I said earlier, the vast majority of hearing losses are a sensorineural hearing loss. Now it should be noted that somebody could have a mixture of a conductive hearing loss and a sensorineural hearing loss. Maybe there is a problem with the outer or middle ear, but also there is damage to the nerve endings in the inner ear. So how do we find out what type of hearing loss someone has? Well, this is referred to as an audiogram. And when someone receives a hearing test, this is where the results are recorded. In that test, there's what's called air conduction and bone conduction. Now, by comparing the two, we can find out if the hearing loss is sensorineural or conductive. But let's focus on air conduction. Essentially, with air conduction, the Person conducting the test is going to put a headset on the patient, give them a button, and they're going to be introduced different tones. Now you notice on the chart across the top are numbers, and these numbers represent the pitches, going from low pitch sounds on the left to high pitch sounds on the right. And if you notice going down the chart, there are also numbers, and those represent the decibels, or the volume, the loudness. So as you go down the chart, the sounds get louder. So as the individual hears tones, they press the button, and then the person who is conducting the test is going to put red O's on this chart for the right ear and blue X's for the left ear. Let's go ahead and complete this for a particular patient. And you notice that with this patient, with the low pitch sounds, they're hearing those sounds much better than the high pitch. We're going to add in what's referred to as the speech banana. This is where speech sounds generally fall. So you notice that on the left-hand side of the chart, the speech banana is falling below the X's and the O's, which means that that individual is hearing those low-pitched sounds. Ah, ooh, oh. Oftentimes the vowel sounds are low pitch. But you notice that with the high pitch sounds, the speech banana is falling above the X's and O's, which means that individual is having difficulty with those sounds. And many of your consonants are high pitch, like S, SH, T, TH, P. Now, if someone's results are 20 or above, then their hearing is still falling in the normal range. However, when they fall below 20, that individual needs help with their hearing. And by the way, below 90 is actually considered a profound hearing loss. So let's move on to the impact and causes of hearing loss. What is the impact of hearing loss? Well, hearing loss can impact someone's life, first of all, physically, as well as socially and emotionally, and even economically. The physical impact of hearing loss is seen in communication. An individual has difficulty hearing and listening. They'll say things like, I can't hear you, or if people only wouldn't mumble, or if somebody wouldn't speak too fast, all because of the loss of discrimination. Others around them will complain that the TV is way too loud. And on top of this, oftentimes, the individual becomes easily tired, what's called listening fatigue, from having to strain so hard to listen and focus on what's being said. Then there's a social and emotional impact of hearing loss. An individual can feel isolated, and they may display anger, frustration, and embarrassment. Essentially, they don't want to be around other people because it exposes their hearing loss and how much difficulty they have communicating. So they tend to withdraw from activities. And depression is very common. And by the way, in a Johns Hopkins study, they found a relationship between dementia and hearing loss, that those with dementia were 5 times more likely to have hearing loss than the general population. Then there's an economic impact. You notice on this chart, going across from top to bottom, that's someone's annual household income, and then the degree of hearing loss is at the bottom, going from 1 to 10. Notice that the more severe someone's hearing loss is, over a lifetime, the lower their annual household income is. So someone may ask, what are the causes of hearing loss? What causes this? Well, there's many different causes. In most cases, there's just no single cause for a hearing loss, but it results from a combination of factors. We tend to say it is what it is in the end, but it can be age-related, noise-induced, genetic, or even drug-related. Presbycusis refers to age-related hearing loss. It's a natural result of the aging process from extended exposure to environmental noise factors throughout a lifetime. And that is permanent damage to the nerve endings in the inner ear. That cannot be medically fixed. Now, some people will have normal hearing right into their senior years. However, if you have a hearing loss coming into your senior years, then it tends to get worse over time. A noise-induced hearing loss, sociocusis, results from exposure to harmful level of noise. Now that's whether we're talking about sharp, intense noises in a short period of time, such as an explosion or a gun blast, or just exposure to noise in general over a long period of time. Once again, this is a sensorineural hearing loss because the hair cells have been permanently damaged. And this happens usually gradually and painlessly. And did you know that hearing loss can also be caused by genetics? Researchers have found that hearing loss oftentimes runs in families. And finally, there's many prescription drugs which cause hearing loss, including antibiotics, aspirin, cancer treatment drugs. In fact, there are some cancer treatment drugs which you can take once and experience hearing loss. If you were to go online and Google drugs that cause hearing loss, you would find lists with pages and pages of prescription medications that cause hearing loss. In America today, hearing loss is the third most prevalent chronic condition in older Americans after hypertension and arthritis. And it's one of the leading adult handicaps. In fact, today, 1 in 3 people over age 60 has a hearing loss. And if you look at those who are baby boomers, it's 1 in 6, and Generation Xers, 1 in 14. But did you know that American teenagers using their headsets for video games and for music, that 1 in 5 has a hearing loss? In fact, that translates to 36 million people in the United States of America have a hearing loss. Worldwide, 10% of the world's population has hearing loss. So the question becomes, if you have a hearing loss, what can be done about it? What are the available options? You may have seen some of these ads for different hearing aid manufacturers advertising the latest in hearing technology. And there's some really neat stuff out there, whether it's made by Starkey or under the brand names Signia, Apex, Rexton, Oticon, Phonak. And here's just a few examples of some of the latest technology for somebody who's actually tone deaf, where no matter how loud you make a particular pitch, they never hear it. There is a thing called frequency lowering, which will actually take sounds in the high pitch area and shift them lower. And then there's high-speed feedback cancellation, which, in the old days, people would complain about their hearing aids whistling. And high-speed feedback cancellation has reduced those complaints where very few people today with good technology in a hearing aid have problems with their hearing aids whistling or squealing. And then there's tinnitus maskers. People have problems with ringing in the ears or other noises. And a tinnitus masker is a built-in masker in a hearing aid which presents a white noise, or there also are instruments that have random musical instruments, but that is set at a level where the brain will focus on that white noise or those random musical notes instead of the ringing or, like I said, other sounds, wind noise, chirping, and people oftentimes find relief from their tinnitus or tinnitus. Actually, both pronunciations are correct. And then there are instruments that are Bluetooth compatible. In fact, there are instruments that are actually made for iPhone hearing aids, or remotes that will work with a hearing aid so that you can connect to a Bluetooth device. And then there's advanced aids and there's budget aids. Those advanced aids tend to be fully automatic and have excellent background noise reduction, where a budget aid is more of a basic hearing aid, where someone is going to be doing more manual adjustments and it doesn't have as good of a background noise reduction. And then there are instruments that are completely water resistant. And then for somebody who's actually deaf in one ear, there's a cross or a bicross system where that deaf ear actually has a device on it called a cross, which is a microphone and a transmitter, and it transmits the sound from that side over to the better ear. The natural question is, how much do hearing aids cost? And you know, that's kind of the wrong questions. The right question is, do you fit the really cheap hearing aids? Do you fit the really good hearing aids? And do you fit everything in between? And are your prices as good or better than the competition? You know, one of the reasons for our name, Hear Great for Less, is because we strive to be the lowest price that you can find on the internet or in any hearing aid center. And we fit every single manufacturer and every level of technology. And the next question is, will you strive to offer me the technology I need at a price I can afford? Are you highly skilled at what you do? And do you care about me? And are you ready to take care of my hearing needs? And the answer to those questions is yes. So when you take a look at the price of a hearing aid can range from a few $100s to a few $1,000s. It just varies depending on the level of technology, and you can go from a simple amplifier to a fully automatic high-speed computer. And then there's the question, do you need one hearing aid or do you need two hearing aids? So someone asks, well, what level do I need? Well, there's many different factors that determine your needs. First of all, your type of hearing loss and the degree of your hearing loss. And do you have a hearing loss in just one ear? Is it unilateral or in both ears? And then your lifestyle. Are you a fairly sedentary person or are you extremely active? And vanity plays a part. You know, are you okay with an instrument that is visible, yet you hear very well with it? Or do you need an instrument that cannot be seen? And then, of course, you got to take into account budget. And then people have very specific work-related needs, and they need a hearing aid to meet those needs, whether you're talking about a doctor, somebody who's on the phone all the time, issues like that. And then there's handicaps. You know, some people have very poor finger dexterity or eyesight problems. And so an instrument that is too difficult for them to handle would not be a good thing. And then you have other complicating factors that need to be looked at. Does the individual have problems with ringing in the ears, or being deaf on one side, or actually tone deaf? Or is there an eardrum perforation where you really don't want to close off the ear canal? The point is this: only a complete hearing evaluation and lifestyle assessment by a competent professional can determine your needs. So why go through Hear Great for Less? Well, we fit all the major manufacturers' hearing aids, and our prices are the lowest that you will find on the internet. For example, one of our leading competitors is Hear.com, and you will save hundreds of dollars over Hear.com. We have many years of experience, and we have helped thousands and thousands of people to better hearing. We don't just sell hearing aids, we are overseeing your entire experience, and we're going to stay with you each step of the way. From the time that you call us to the time that you are tested, with the selection of the hearing aids, the ordering of the hearing aids, the programming, and even the follow-up care. You are going to have another specialist overseeing your process, making sure that you are hearing the best that you can. So you're not only going to receive excellent local care, because we are going to send you to a highly qualified center near you where you will receive excellent care. But on top of that, our team of experts with years of experience fitting hearing aids are involved with you each step of the way. In fact, we're so confident that we're going to help you that if we don't help you, we don't want your money. In fact, in just one day you're going to know you're hearing better, but we're going to give you 45 days to decide, completely risk-free. And by the way, no matter where you are in the USA, we can help you. So what's the next step? Well, this is your countdown to better hearing. You've taken the first step by checking out our website and watching this video. And if you realize that you have a hearing loss, the first step is call us. Give us a call so we can schedule a free hearing evaluation, or if you prefer, you can simply fill out the online questionnaire on our website and answer the basic questions, and we'll give you a call. And what we're going to do is we're going to set up a hearing test. You'll be tested by a highly qualified licensed professional who's going to explain your test results clearly and let you know if you need help. And if you do need help, he or she's going to go over the options available for your loss, lifestyle, and budget. The audiologist or specialist will guide you in making an intelligent decision. And in fact, we're going to help you as well. And then here, in 1 or 2 weeks, you'll be hearing again and enjoying family and friends as you begin this life-changing path of better hearing. We have always found a way to help folks that want to hear better, because we strongly believe that hearing changes lives. At Hear Great for Less, our desire is that each step of the way you will say, "That was truly an enjoyable experience." We hope this presentation was enjoyable as well and educational for you, and we want to serve you any way we can. So thank you so much for listening, and we so look forward to helping you through better hearing. Hear Great for Less can be reached at 833-HEAR-123, 833-432-7123. Isn't it time to start your countdown to better hearing?